Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this session. This webinar is going to be about Zoho Sign's journey in 2023. I will give you a run through of what we've added to the product, what changes we've made, and we will then have questions that will be answered by our panelists who are here with me. So, my name is Sai Anand, and I'm a senior product marketer here at Zoho. And on the panel today, I have with me people. It's quite a large list. I have Mr. Subramanian. I believe Mr. Subramanian is unavailable for this session. And we have Mr. Saravnan instead, who heads the mobile engineering team. And we also have Chandramouli, who heads our marketing team. We have Shankari, Gopinathan, and Nagarajan, who are all senior engineers who've been with Zoho Sign since the start of the application. And we also have Mohan, Bala Vignesh, and Subhashni, who are with the product team as engineers and marketers. So they will be the panel for today. So we have enough people to keep you occupied if you have questions to throw at us. So feel free to throw them at us. And I'm pretty sure as I'm presenting, you will have a lot of things up in your head that you want to get clarity on. So feel free to exercise the Q&A option to your maximum potential and keep those questions coming in. All right. So without further ado, let me get started with this session. Like I said, this session is going to be about what we've added to Zoho Sign. But before that, I will just give you a brief overview of Zoho Sign, the app in itself, and how business agreements happen in today's world and how Zoho Sign is helping with that. And following that, like I said, we will have a recap of our product updates, and we will then have a short sneak peek at what's coming in 2024, and we will have all the answers to your questions. Now, like I said, the answers to your questions might be at the bottom of this list, but it does not necessarily mean that you wait till the end to ask your questions. You can keep them coming as and when I'm presenting. That's what my panelists are there to answer them for. All right. So let's quickly talk about agreements and the world. Today, the world, as we know, runs on agreements, and it's largely driven by paperwork. And a lot of this paperwork is formalized by capturing signatures on them and also having payments if they are transactional in nature. Now, this in general includes a lot of steps as a part of the process, right? You have to draft your agreements, collaborate with all your stakeholders. You have to automate workflows if you're not doing all of your agreements through pen and paper. And you also have to ensure that the ID of the people that are signing documents is verified and the transaction goes through where payments are collected and signatures are collected. Now, if you go back a few years, this was entirely physical, but people are doing it through pen and paper. But now people have started to adopt digital technology, such as digital signatures, to do this. But however, all of this still poses its own challenge to people, especially when, as business owners and entrepreneurs, I'm sure you have agreements and paperwork in all aspects of running your business. So this will automatically start to weigh up on you and get in the way of you doing your business, primarily because the world has sort of shifted its approach to how we're doing business these days, especially in the post-pandemic era. We're doing business a lot more remotely and our workspaces are a lot more hybrid, right? And everybody has a smart device these days. They have a smartwatch, they have a smartphone, they have a laptop, they have a tablet, something or the other, wherein all of their experiences are primarily digital. And apart from this, most of the services that we offer as businesses, be it directly to consumers or to other businesses, these involve transactions that typically happen across time zones and across borders, right? Now, all of this put together presents its challenges in addition to all the cumbersome steps that I already mentioned that are required to get your paperwork in order, right? All your paperwork typically as a business, when you scale, will be scattered, and they will be scattered across departments, they will be scattered across employee groups, teams, basically scattered across your whole workplace. So you would need to try and consolidate them and manage them in a more organized and efficient manner. And paperwork in general is very repetitive, it is cumbersome, and it is time consuming, which opens it up to errors. Your employees who are doing paperwork over and over again will be worn out as a result, and they could end up making mistakes that could cost your business money, right? And given that we are now slowly shifting away from the pen and paper methodology to digital transactions, there is always the element of concern when it comes to the trust involved in the whole transaction, the security of the process, and compliance, especially if you're operating in a regulated industry. All of this put together in general just tends to present a very low confidence in how business deals are done. And that's where Zoho Sign comes in, because we are trying to, or I would say we're attempting to fix all of it simultaneously in one go. We have an application that can be your complete digital signature solution, which facilitates the process of getting your paperwork done by getting documents signed online and getting approvals and signatures in a more streamlined and secure manner. And we also add on to this by helping you ease your overall workflows by having productivity features like templates, sign forms, bulk sending and signing, etc. On top of this, you have the ability to also produce supplementary documentation, which allows you to track the process at all times, produce audit trails, and have reports, all of which help establish accountability of the process, the authenticity of the signers, and the integrity of the documents themselves. So the outcome of this is that you get a legally binding document that you can use for business transactions, which is perhaps just as equivalent to physically signed documents. Now, how does Zoho Sign do this? It does it by being available for you to use across all popular platforms. Zoho Sign is not something that you use just from your web browsers. You can also access it from other popular platforms, be it mobile or desktop, such as Android, iOS, iPadOS, and macOS and Windows. Now, another advantage of using Zoho Sign is that it is one of the most tightly integrated applications within the Zoho ecosystem. And I'm sure there are a lot of users here who are no stranger to the Zoho ecosystem. I'm sure you're using a lot of these applications that you see at the top of your screen. And Zoho Sign integrates with well over 20 different Zoho apps at this point in time, and also adds to that portfolio of integrations with several third-party apps from popular vendors like Microsoft, Google, etc. And we also integrate with several other integration platforms, which enable you to integrate Zoho Sign with thousands of other applications out there in the internet, and also integrate with popular Salesforce automation applications such as CRM solutions, cloud storage, etc. Now, if this isn't enough for you, if you're somebody who likes to get down and dirty in terms of how you develop integrations or get make customizations, then we also have APIs, we have webhooks, we have software development kits, and other collections such as Postman API collections, etc., which are available at your disposal for you to try and connect Zoho Sign with your in-house applications and websites to get things going. Now, obviously, there is going to be the looming question of whether all of this is compliant, whether this is legal. As I said earlier, Zoho Sign follows a digital signature technology, and this technology in itself has been enshrined as a legal technology into law by various regulations across the globe. We have the eSign Act in the United States, the eIDAS regulations in the EU, the ITA 2000 in India, and various forms of Electronic Transactions Act across Southeast Asia, Australia, and so on. Now, all of these laws typically tend to have different tiered layers of electronic signatures that are considered legal and applicable across different types of transactions. These would typically fall, almost all digital signatures would fall into one of the three categories that I've listed here on the screen. And the advantage with Zoho Sign is that it offers all three layers of protection. It offers simple standard electronic signatures, it offers advanced electronic signatures, and qualified electronic signatures, depending on where you're accessing the application from and what integrations we have in place in that region. Now, how we go about achieving this compliance is essentially through integrations with trust services. So we have integrations with popular trust services and identity providers such as Aadhaar, SingPass, eMudra, Swisscom, Ideology, and so on. Now, the names I've thrown at you are basically from all across the globe. They're from different continents, which means we are trying to add to our portfolio of a very broad set of trust services that we integrate with that helps you achieve compliance across borders as a result. So at this point in time, we have identity linked digital authentication, identity linked digital signatures, trusted document timestamping, and even electronic stamp duty payment in India. So all of these features would help you sort of get your overall paperwork in order in a very nice little package deal in the form of a subscription that comes with Zoho Sign. Now, of course, Zoho Sign being a Zoho application also means that it comes with inherent platform security and privacy that Zoho has always prided, in offering. So we have encryption at rest and encryption in transit for all your documents and data. And on top of that, the access to your application is protected by multi-factor authentication and single sign-on powered by the Zoho Cloud. And we also pride ourselves in not having third-party trackers or ads within our applications, making sure your privacy is completely within, it's completely safeguarded. And in terms of data security and redundancy, we have the option for you to back your documents up to cloud storage on demand, or also set up automated backup to the different integrated storage providers. On top of this, we also adhere to various data protection and privacy rules such as the GDPR, the HIPAA, the PDPA, and so on across the globe. And as a result of which, we are slowly building compliances in different regions of operating a cloud-based application. And we also have local data centers across 5 different regions in the world, with 2 more coming up in the coming months to ensure local data protection and processing of data within the boundaries defined by our local authorities. So with all of that done, let's take a quick look at what Zoho Sign has offered in 2023. So this is going to be a long list, and it's frankly going to be pretty dry. So pardon me if it gets a little, too texty, but I just want to make sure that I do not miss out on any of the updates that we've added to the application. I'm not going to be diving into the application and showing you a demo of these features because, like I said, it's a long list and we would never be done if we started doing that. But you are welcome to try these out because I will be telling you how to access them. And if you have questions, you can shoot them through the question and answers tab. All right, so let's first take a look at our long list of features and enhancements. First up, one major update that we rolled out earlier in the year, which we've also modified a little bit now, is control measures for life sciences and healthcare industries. We understand that this is a very heavily regulated industry, and no matter where you operate out of the globe, and every country has its own framework or regulation that governs how your operational practices are executed for you to operate in this industry. And as a result, when it comes to signing paperwork and documents, you are essentially creating electronic records, and electronic records are required to be preserved under certain controlled environments and mechanisms which are prescribed by common frameworks such as the US FDA Title 21 Part 11 or the EU GMP Annex 11 and so on. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and done extensive legal research and come up with certain control mechanisms which your administrator can enable for your organization just simply by visiting the account settings section. And this would then limit how the users access the application and would restrict the way in which signatures are collected and paperwork is processed and stored. So this is something you can toggle from the account settings. Now, this is also something we are releasing in a phased manner, meaning it is not available for all accounts at this point in time. But if you would like to avail this functionality, please write to us and we will enable it for you. Next, coming to the signature workflows themselves, that is the document signature requests, so the envelopes that you create and the workflows that help you execute them in getting them signed. So first up, one major enhancement that we've introduced is the ability to save the changes that you've made to your workflows and requests while they are still in the draft phase. Earlier, you were able to upload documents and create drafts, but the changes to the workflows or the settings or the configurations of the request were not saved. But now that is no longer the case. You can save them and come back to them and resume your workflow. Now, we've also taken that a step further, wherein once you've sent a document or an envelope out for signature, you notice that there is an error that has been committed in one of the documents or in one of the workflow configurations. Say some recipient has been wrongly addressed or has been the wrong details or wrong configurations have been added. You can still go ahead and correct those so long as the first person to whom the document was sent has not signed it yet. So this is something which was lacking earlier as well. So we've made this correction so that you can prevent the whole process of creating a document again from scratch and recalling an erroneously sent document and so on. Next, you know that we've always had the option for signers to print a document that they've sent that they've received for signatures, physically sign it, and then upload a scanned copy. Now, what happens in this case is typically some signers may not have good equipment to scan their documents and may upload documents which are deemed unsuitable, or they may have committed an error in the process of scanning or physically signing a document in itself. So what happens here is when that document copy is uploaded, the sender typically has to accept that copy for the workflow to proceed on to the next signer. But earlier there was no option to reject an unsuitable copy. It was simply just accept, or if there was an error, then the sender would have to recall the whole request and then start the whole workflow from scratch again. So now we've introduced an enhancement wherein they can reject an unsuitable copy, and that document would then be sent again for signature only to the recipient who uploaded uploaded the rejected copy without any other form of, without anything else in the workflow being affected. Another thing that we've introduced in the past year is the ability to send documents out at a later point in time, meaning you can schedule your documents or workflows to be triggered at a specific time in the future. This would mean that the first person that's going to be signing a document will be receiving it at the time that you've scheduled it. And as a result, this allows you to operate with more sensitivity to your recipients who may be based out of other regions or time zones, and avoid sending them documents to sign at untimely hours. And another thing is that you can now also have pre-fill fields in all documents, which was supported previously only in the templates feature. So I acknowledge that a lot of senders would typically have some information beforehand before sending it out to their signers. And this information is something they want to capture as a part of the form data or the document field data within the documents, but they did not have a provision to add that unless they ask the signers themselves to add it before. So now you have the option of using pre-fill fields to add all of this information. And then once the document has been signed, this information can be captured separately as a part of the form data that can be extracted and operated upon. And when it comes to bulk send, there was a limit of only being able to send documents to up to 300 recipients earlier. Now that has been enhanced to 1,000 recipients. This allows you to operate with a lot more efficiency and send even more larger campaigns where you collect signatures, say from a large group of employees, a large group of union members, and so on. Now, the templates feature in itself has undergone a slew of enhancements. One thing that we've done is the ability to combine templates. Earlier, you had a template that you created, and you could only use that as it is. You could not combine it with other documents. You could not edit the template. Uh, in essence, a template was something that was fixed and determined by the administrator, which the user could simply just make use of. But now we have the option where you can combine multiple templates. That is, you can select multiple templates and you can combine them into a single request or envelope and send them all out to a common set of signers at once. And even if you have an ad hoc envelope that you're creating by uploading a document or so, and you want to add more documents which you have saved in templates, you can merge those documents from templates onto the envelope before sending them out for collection. And not just this, all the documents that are generated out of sending a template earlier did not get saved to any particular folder or document type. Now we have the option to save it to an existing folder as you're configuring a template. So you can set a default folder to which the documents or envelopes containing the documents will be saved as the template is used, or you can also override this to choose a different folder at the time of using the template itself. Now, another thing we've done on top of this is that we understand that a lot of people have multiple businesses, so they may have multiple Zoho Sign accounts, wherein they are using templates across all of these accounts, which are standard or common. And earlier, what would happen is people would need to upload the documents onto each of these accounts and set up their templates separately from scratch in each of these accounts. Now, that is no longer the case. You can set up a template in one of your Zoho Sign accounts, and you can export it to your local device, that is your laptop or your tablet, in the form of a zip file, and you can import them into the other Zoho Sign account that you have. You can just have the template come in, have all of it be already configured, and start using. Now, when it comes to the document viewer page, that is the page where you see the document that you're sending out, we've introduced a set of enhancements there as well. First, we've added a new font that is Open Sans, which is a common font that is used across the web. And next, we've allowed the option to customize the format of the date in the sign date and the date fields. Earlier, we had a drop down where you can specify a date format that was predefined, but now we've also provided the option for you to create your own date format based on a syntax, and as a result, use that date format across the document fields. And when it comes to drop-down fields themselves, we understand that some drop-down fields, say for example, country, would have hundreds of options, right? So what would happen in this case is if you want to insert such a field into a document, you would have to manually add hundreds of options one after the other earlier. So now we've made that easier by allowing you to add all your options separated by commas, up to 100 options at a time, directly as you're dragging and dropping the field. Not just this, some other another enhancement is that fields such as signature or initial or the date would typically go would cut across your entire document, where you would have the same field over and over again at the same spot. And this would once again be a cumbersome process if you have like a 40-50 page document. So what we've done now is, when you're inserting these fields, you can actually right click on these fields and place them across the entire document in different pages in just one go by configuring where they need to go. Apart from this, when you're viewing your documents as a list within the Zoho Sign account, there are some enhancements that we've introduced there as well. We did not have a view for expired documents earlier. Now that is available for you to take a look at, so you can maybe just reinitiate these requests from the expired view. And in the in progress list view, we also have the various options that are typically used with documents in the in progress state, such as being able to recall or extend the deadline, available as icons directly at the top of the screen. So earlier you would have to go down to each and every single envelope or document request and open that and then recall them or extend the deadline one by one. But now what you can do is you can select multiple documents as part of the list and just click on the icon at the top of your screen to quickly recall them or extend the deadline. And the same functionality has been and a similar functionality has been extended to all lists, wherein you can select documents from a list and automatically move them to a particular folder in just one click, where you can select the documents and you have a move to folder icon available at the top that can be made use of in case your documents have not been associated with a folder or are present in a different folder. Now, apart from this, in the document lists, earlier you were not able to see which template or sign form resulted in that particular envelope or document. Now that is possible because we've introduced column-based filters, which allows you to identify which template or sign form was used in the creation of the signature request. And clicking on that respective column alongside a row would take you to the respective template or the sign form themselves. Apart from this, we also have the option to customize the automatic signer field navigation. So this is something that is part of the user experience that we got frequent feedback about, wherein a lot of the people using Zoho Sign, that is the signers who do not have familiarity with the application, are finding it difficult when they sign the documents because the fields show up and the document automatically navigates as they fill in the field. So we've now allowed the administrators to customize this by enabling automatic field navigation only through certain fields or disabling it altogether so as to make the user experience better for the signers at the other end. And another important security related enhancement that we've introduced is the ability for administrators to warn their own users when they're about to sign documents that are received from unrecognized or unknown domains. So typically, if you're a Zoho Sign user, you would either receive an email in your inbox that you access the documents from and sign, or you have your Zoho Sign dashboard where you would see the documents under the Need Your Signature tab. Now, when you click on this, it allows you to visit the document, see the document information, and then sign it. But a lot of people tend to not pay too much attention to the email address in itself. And this is where spoofing attacks and phishing attacks start, right? Somebody can have a very similar sounding or similar looking domain and can very easily take advantage of your lapse in concentration. So in order to avoid that from happening, we've added this enhancement which allows administrators to display a warning message if a document is received from a domain that the administrator has very clearly not added as a part of their known domains list in this particular section. Now, another administrative feature is that a lot of automations and integrations and third-party enhancements, such as the authentication via trust services and digital signatures via trust services, consume Zoho Sign credits. Now, these credits are purchased as an add-on on top of your subscription fee and are utilized as and when documents are signed. For large organizations that get thousands of documents signed in a day, the credits are consumed in the volumes of hundreds and thousands, and they can run out of credits pretty quickly, and that can disrupt the whole automation process. So After having received feedback, we've now enabled automatic reload of Zoho Sign credits, which can be done by the administrator, provided your credit card is on file with us. And this can be then done to trigger upon reaching a specified threshold. Apart from this, there are some other features and enhancements. So we've now supported 6 additional languages for Zoho Sign. Uh, we have Arabic and Hebrew, which are both written from right to left, and the interface is also right to left, in which you can view the app and operate the app. Apart from this, you have Indonesian, Thai, Chinese in the traditional format, and Vietnamese, all of which are available for you to use the application in, and also set the vernacular for your signers for when you send documents out for signatures. So as and when you're configuring your recipient settings, you can open the customized side pane and select which language they access the document in, even if you are using Zoho Sign in a different language. And in addition to this, you might have already noticed this, but there is a small tweak to the custom branding functionality that we have, wherein when you add a brand logo to the organization details page, it not only rebrands the application now, but also adds the logo to the tab of the application on your browser and names the browser tab your organization's name. It's just a minor enhancement that we have that helps you identify the application and kind of merge it with your organization's identity. And apart from this, you also now have the options to print documents directly from Zoho Sign rather than having to download the document or email the document to yourself. And there are additional email templates which were earlier used to notify recipients, which are now available for you to customize from the email templates customization functionality available under account settings. Now, moving on to some developer related features and enhancements, or some rather enterprise level features, we have the option to now map your domain to Zoho Sign and use the service and operate it directly from your business domain. This allows you to build that brand awareness and trust by maintaining and mirroring your identity across the service, in addition to the earlier rebranding where you add your logo, customize the email templates, and so on. Now, this does have its own conditions when you avail it. However, you can raise an access request to try this out in the link that I've listed in the screen here. Apart from this, if you're a developer, you also have the option to now embed the whole signature workflow creation process within your website or in-house app. Earlier, it was only the signing functionality that could be embedded, but now the whole sending functionality can also be embedded, wherein you can enable users to send documents for signatures directly from your own apps through Zoho Sign and have your customers, clients, and partners sign it using Zoho Sign from your own app as well. And you can also append parameters such as request ID and action ID to the redirection URLs that you're using when you're redirecting them to custom landing pages within your apps or directly from the web interface. And this allows you to identify the visitors based on the ID that is passed on and profile them and operate on that information. Now, in addition to this, all the Zoho Sign credits and the complimentary credits that you have in your account, I'm sure as an administrator, you would want to view a detailed usage report of this. And that is something that we've introduced now, which can be accessed from the subscription details page. And this report can be customized and exported as well. So speaking about integrations and applications that we've added or modified in 2023, first one is that we've added an integration with Zoho Billing, which was previously called Zoho Subscriptions. It was a subscription management application from Zoho as part of the Zoho Finance Suite, and we did not have an integration with it earlier, but now we do. And this allows you as a user to digitally sign invoices and credit notes when you send them out to customers or vendors directly from the Zoho billing interface in itself. And the same suite of applications has also launched something called Zoho Practice, which is a complete practice management app where you can onboard your customers, vendors, and partners, and so on, and manage your entire business practice and the various processes associated with it. And this application also has an integration with Zoho Sign that allows you to create document signature requests and send them out to clients directly for their signature by your users who normally be the accountants that are part of your practice. And within Zoho Sign, we've added an integration with the OpenAI platform through Zia, our own AI assistant. So this is going to be an ongoing set of integrations that are made possible through the integration with OpenAI platform. So there will be multiple functionalities that we are introducing over the next 6 to 12 months. The first of which that is already present is the ability to make use of the ChatGPT generative AI capabilities to automatically generate a document summary when you're about to sign or approve a document. Now, this is typically handy when you are aware of the context of a deal or a transaction, or you have already gone through a document. But you've received the same document again for your signature, and instead of having to go through the entire document from scratch, if it's a long document, you can instead choose to get the document summary given to you by OpenAI, and then use that to validate what you know about the document and proceed to sign it or approve it. This is very useful for high level executives who typically have a lot of documents to sign but very little time to review them, but are constantly aware of what business transactions occur. And now let me speak in detail about a few regional integrations that we have. So as I mentioned earlier, we integrate with a lot of trust services to build compliance, to make sure we have the different tiers of signature required for legally valid documents in different regions, right? So for the EU region, we require something qualified electronic signature, and we have been adding various options and providers to expand on the services offered in this tier of signatures. So in the past year, we've added a couple more vendors with whom we've integrated. We've integrated with Swisscom, who offer qualified electronic signatures that are valid both in Switzerland as per the ZERT-S Swiss federal law and in the European Union. So Switzerland is not a part of the European Union, so it requires a vendor that is based out of Switzerland. But the advantage of this is that it is also recognized in the European Union as a qualified electronic signature. So you have something that can be used across borders when operating from or with a company in Switzerland. And we also added qualified electronic signatures via It's Me. It's Me is a digital identity provider from the Benelux region that provides qualified electronic signatures by authenticating signers with their national ID cards issued in Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Now, this identity provider is not limited to this region. They are expanding their operations to offer ID-based QES across other European countries in the future as well. But by virtue of having this integration, as and when they open up these ID-based signatures, we would be having them built into our product as well. And along with this, we already have EID or EU national ID based qualified electronic signatures available through one of our aggregator integrations. And this has added an additional couple of vendors, one in Poland and one in Belgium, wherein if you're residents of these countries or if you're operating in these countries, you can use those to get a qualified electronic signature and sign documents. Now, something that is very important for the Indian audience that we have is that we've now introduced an integration with an e-stamping vendor. So we've integrated with SignDesk, a leading e-stamping service, which allows you to procure e-stamps by making non-judicial stamp duty payments online for the transactions that you're about to conduct. And this allows you to procure e-stamps of any denominations based on the transaction value and affix that stamp duty payment challan to the document that you're preparing and sending out for signatures. The beauty of this is that this, in essence, gives you a document that is equivalent to a document that is printed out on a stamp paper of the same stamp duty value. And it saves you the time of having to go and purchase physical stamp papers and instead get all of your stamp duty payment done online. So this eases the overall process of doing business in general, and make sure that you are able to be on the right side of the law as you're going about online transactions as well. Now, if you're from the United States, we have dynamic knowledge-based authentication available at this point. This is something that is picking up in popularity and is considered to be fairly secure in terms of how it helps you identify signers. where the signers would be asked questions to which only they would know answers. Prior to these questions, they would be required to input their name and some information about them, such as the last four digits of their social security number and so on, which would then be used by the integration vendor ideology to fetch records that are available in public credit bureaus and other demographic information about the signer, and post them these questions to which they can provide the answers, and then this would be validated with the information available to verifiably say that this person is in fact who he claims to be or who they claim to be. And this way you have your KYC process, sort of a second layer of KYC process being done in across different scenarios and business use cases in the United States, wherein they know that the person they're dealing with is somebody that has records available, and gives you that higher assurance of the signer's identity. Apart from this, we've also introduced integrations with other popular CRM vendors such as Fresh Sales and Zendesk. These simply enable you to send documents out for signatures and get them signed directly from the respective interfaces, and also track them from these interfaces as well. These integrations might require you to install the app from the respective marketplaces, but they would simply just add the extension of Zoho Sign as you would in, say, Zoho CRM or Zoho People for that matter, and allow you to build out the workflows and send documents out. Now, now coming to this integration with Zoho Directory, this is what I believe the question was all about from, I believe it was Mohammed, who had asked if it is possible to manage the users being added to Zoho Sign and reset their passwords and so on. So Zoho Directory is Zoho's very own identity and access management platform, akin to that of, say, the Active Directory offered by Microsoft. And this allows you to bring all of your users under one dashboard or one roof and consolidate their access to the various applications through the directory wherein you provision the access to these respective services. So by integrating with Zoho Sign, this also extends to Zoho Sign, where you can add your users to Zoho Sign directly from Zoho Directory and monitor their access of the application and reset their passwords, reset their access, and so on, or even block access remotely, and allow you to study the pattern of behavior in how they access to flag any anomalies if required. Apart from this, we've also updated a lot of our existing integrations and applications. So the various third-party digital signature providers such as Wanataka or InfoCert or eMudra, wherein you would be required to procure certificates for yourself directly from the vendor, would typically require you to renew these certificates as well. And the renewal process was previously disjoint from Zoho Sign, wherein you would have to go to the vendor's website and get it done. But now Zoho Sign provides you an option to get the renewal done within our interface, with only the users being required to complete the renewal process with the respective providers if required. And apart from this, we've also now supported the signing of purchase orders in Zoho Books and Zoho Inventory. This was a very popular request that we've received in the past couple of years, and now we've supported this, enabling you to manage your purchase orders with digital signatures and sending them to your vendors. Another common request that we receive is conditional logic in being able to add fields and signers. Now, this is something that we are actively building in within Sign, but Zoho Writer, which has the option to create templates and fillable templates, has had the option to introduce conditional logic in their templates for quite some time. So what we've done is gone ahead and created a workaround where you can make use of the conditional logic within Zoho Writer to create workflows where you have recipients that are dynamically assigned or enabled or disabled when you're using the writer to send a fillable template for signature using Zoho Sign. So this basically just enhances the way the document automation occurs and ensures that you make more efficient use of the templates that you have in Zoho Writer. We've also gone ahead and refreshed or updated the Zoho Sign app for the various Apple devices and platforms such as iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. We've introduced a bunch of new interactive widgets across all the platforms, which allow you to sign, send, and track documents. And it also allows you to send reminders to approvers and recipients directly from your device from these widgets. And these widgets can be added not just to your home screen, but also to your lock screen. And some of these actions can also be performed when the devices are in the standby mode. Apart from this, the interfaces that we have across various integrations have also undergone some changes. First up, within Zoho Sign in itself, the entire integration section has undergone a complete revamp. So now if you go to the integrations under the account settings option in Zoho Sign, you will find that you have a long list of the various integrations that we have both within the Zoho ecosystem and outside. And these have also been categorized into different buckets of applications belonging to different categories. And we also have a search functionality that allows you to search an application and find out if it integrates with Zoho Sign by default or not. In addition to this, we also have assistance offered to users now through contextual display of help documentation or knowledge base articles. So in the Zoho Sign screen, you would now see a small question icon at the bottom right. If you click on that, depending on which screen of Zoho Sign you're on, it would automatically fetch the relevant knowledge base articles for you to read through and understand how to make use of those functions. And at the same time, if you go and look at the top right corner of your screen, you would see a megaphone icon or a speaker icon, which if you click on would open a message board from the right hand side. This is a message board wherein you would receive announcements and important updates that are sent to you directly by the Zoho Sign team that helps you keep on top of what's happening within the applications and any events or webinars happening in the future. The Zoho CRM extension from Zoho Sign has also undergone a complete revamp wherein we've reflected the workflow builder and the recipient customization. We designed it to reflect what it looks like within the Zoho Sign interface itself. This makes it easier for you to configure workflows just as you would in Zoho Sign, but inside Zoho CRM. And by enabling you to set digital signature providers and so on, it extends the overall legal feature set that Zoho Sign offers into the extension for Zoho CRM as well. Now, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I believe I have taken up quite a bit of your time. So we have had a few subscription related changes and service related changes as well, which I'll run through. So first up, we've opened up a whole bunch of integrations across all paid editions of the application. So advanced electronic signatures for South African residents, sign with SingPass for Singapore residents, Aadhaar e-sign for Indian residents were all earlier only available in the enterprise plan, but they've now been opened up across all paid editions due to demand and popularity. And similarly, the overall organization activity history, which provides a detailed log of all the activity your users and your documents generate, is now something that is available for your administrators to access across all paid editions. And this was only available in the professional edition and above earlier. Apart from this, we have made some changes to how the credit system functions and how the trial functions. So now when you sign up for Zoho Sign, by default, you would have a 14-day free enterprise trial. But earlier, the option was that you would only be having the enterprise trial, and you can't quite differentiate between the different plans that you can subscribe to within Zoho Sign. So now we have the option for you to switch between different plans during the trial, and then eventually determine which plan suits your business needs the best. And if you let's say you feel like you do not have the need for any of the paid plans, and you would rather use the free plan, which provides you 5 documents a month, then you also have the option to cancel your free trial at any point and simply downgrade and use the free plan forever from the subscription details page. And when it comes to the Zoho Sign credit system that we introduced a couple years ago, it essentially replaced some of our legacy credits, which were the API and SMS credits. And some of you who have been using Zoho Sign for quite some time might remember that these credits were two separate credits that were used for different things, and they were sort of not the same. They were not made equal, and there were different calculations to be factored in, and so on. The whole point of us introducing Zoho Sign credits was for us to standardize the consumption process of add-ons within Zoho Sign, and we got done away with API and SMS credits and introduced Zoho Sign credits instead. However, if you had unused API and SMS credits, we left them as it is until you've exhausted them and then moved you on to Zoho Sign credits. However, now that it's been 2 years since the changes happened, we've decided to convert any unused legacy credits into Zoho Sign credits as well. So administrators would have the option to make this conversion from the subscription details page. Now, on top of this, the users in the enterprise plan get a monthly quota of automation credits, which are provided based on the user licenses each organizations have, that can be consumed at the time of using automations and integrations and third-party services as well. Now, this is once again, like I said, there was a confusion in terms of how many automation credits were the same as how many Zoho Sign credits and so on. So we've removed that confusion by renaming automation credits as complementary Zoho Sign credits and converting the monthly automation credits you receive into Zoho Sign credits of equivalent amount. So earlier, if you received one automation credit, now you would receive 5 Zoho Sign complementary credits instead, and so on. Yeah. Speaking about the service related changes, we finally have support for multiple organizations or portals within Zoho Sign, which means you can use the same email address or same Zoho account to have multiple organizations or portals as you would in some of the other Zoho applications within Zoho Sign as well. And though the portals would require their own user licenses, you can create multiple portals and manage them if you're an administrator. Now, do keep in mind that this is something that we are once again rolling out in a phased manner. So if your account already has the option to create portals, you will see it at the top right of your dashboard. If it does not, you can write to us and we can enable this for you to pilot. Apart from this, we also have digital signatures through Trust Factory, which was earlier only available in the US data center, also available in the EU data centers now. And the very first feature that I spoke about, that is controls for life sciences and healthcare industries, which was limited only to the 21 CFR Part 11 regulations in the US earlier, is now available across all data centers. Meaning earlier it was limited to one set of regulations and one data center, but now it is sort of open and it applies to a set of a varying set of frameworks and regulations across the globe, and the controls are available for you to use across all data centers. But once again, this is also a feature in its phased release manner, phased release. And therefore, phased rollout. Therefore, a lot of people may still not quite have access to this. If you need immediate access to this, you can write to us and we will enable access. So with that being said, let's take a quick peek at what's coming in 2024 for Zoho Sign. Um, so in terms of the application itself, we have a slew of features that are going to be releasing very soon, such as the ability to add witnesses as your signers sign documents, so witnesses can sign simultaneously. The support for USB tokens on Mac OS and Linux, and using USB tokens and PFX signatures to sign documents in bulk. Apart from this, other popular requests that we've worked on is envelope delivery via WhatsApp and other instant messaging platforms. So this is something that you can expect to see in Zoho Sign as well. And more importantly, we are finally introducing custom roles, profiles, and permissions in Zoho Sign very soon in the coming weeks. This allows you to create multiple roles, multiple profiles, and assign different kinds of data and data access and permissions across these roles and permissions across these roles and profiles for users to have access to specific sets of actions, specific sets of templates, documents, and so on. We're also enhancing the AI-based field detection that we already have in documents to extend it to all forms and documents, so that it does a better job at detecting all kinds of blanks and fields. Right now, I believe this only has the option to detect fillable templates, but in the future, this would extend to all kinds of documents as well. You can also create custom signer fields, rotate signature fields, and so on in the future. We are planning to introduce this in the near future, where you can create different kinds of fields that you would use across different templates, save them to your account, and make use of them over and over again. And if you're a developer, you would that makes use of webhooks, we are going to provision a feature which will allow you to enable warnings when your webhook fails, or notifications when your webhook has exceeded certain thresholds, and auto disable webhooks based on their performance and so on. Apart from this, some common features would include being able to provide instant feedback to the Zoho Sign team directly through the user interface, and also for recipients to view the activity history of other signers belonging to a particular document signature request at the time of signing a document. Now, in terms of integrations, we have Zoho Sign working on multiple integrations for users of different other applications, both from within the Zoho ecosystem and outside. So we are working on an integration with the Manage Engine Service Desk Plus application. and also with the Begin by Zoho CRM and Zoho Projects applications as well. In addition to this, we are working on revamping our existing integrations with Google Drive to support mail merge and send from Google Docs, and also just refreshing the overall integration capabilities of Zoho People and Zoho Recruit. And though we've already had the option to import and export documents from various cloud storage providers, we've repeatedly received requests to enable Microsoft SharePoint as one of these providers as well. So we are working on introducing this within the Cloud Picker uh, uh, option in Zoho Sign in the near future. And as it is, we are actively building compliance across regions. So we want to make sure that the compliance extends to all sorts of users, and we do not particularly geo restrict them unless there is a compliance mandate requiring us to do so. So we are looking at exploring opening up the qualified electronic signature integrations across all data centers subject to legal analysis. In addition to this, for local data processing, we are very soon launching Zoho Sign from dedicated data centers in Canada and Saudi Arabia as well. So yeah, with that, I've sort of given you a brief glimpse into what's coming in 2024, and I'm also done with my presentation. So here are some resources that you can make use of to get to know more about Zoho Sign and access and pick up the application for your business use cases. If you have any feedback, you can always write to us at support@zohosign.com. If you're an EU resident, you can write to us alternatively at support@eu.zohosign.com. And all of the updates that I just ran through, we typically release them, over the year. So we have different announcements and update posts that we make on our forums, on our social media channels, and so on, as and when the releases go out. So do follow us on the respective social media platforms to catch these updates as and when they are released. And you can even subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the various videos where we actually demo these features and show you how they can be set up and how they are beneficial and how they can apply to various business use cases and so on. So with that said and done, thank you so much to all of you for joining us in this session. I hope all of you enjoy using Zoho Sign for your business needs, and you continue to use Zoho Sign and give us crucial feedback for us to keep improving our applications. So with that, we wrap up our webinars for this year, and we hope that you tune in for another webinar in 2024. Um, so on behalf of all the panel members who answered questions and myself, I wish you a good end to 2023 and wish you a happy holiday season and a good new year as well. Thank you so much. See you again.